Hi, welcome to the 1 Liter Podcast. You will watch us drinking 1 liters of beer whilst talking about shies. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to the 1 Liter.
Prost. The spotlight won't let up, Joel.
Woo! Philip and I just had a massive German feed.
Massive feast.
I'm burping like a madman. All I can taste is like
Kraut.
kraut, yeah.
Sauerkraut.
Pork and sauerkraut.
Oh, the sauerkraut is so good, though. I like the sauerkraut with the bacon in it. Ooh.
Yeah.
Gives it that little scoot,
Dude,
scoot.
never had sauerkraut and bacon. It was delicious.
Yeah, it is. I don't think it's very tradish. But that's an Austrian restaurant we got that from.
True.
So maybe it's an Austrian thing. I'm not sure.
I caught one of my customers, one of the people who work for my company that work in a different division. I called him today. Didn't know his name. I'll talk to anyone. His name was Wolfgang.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Wolfgang.
he's like, Wolfgang. I was like, holy shit, mate. I was like, that's awesome. And he's like, oh, yeah, sometimes people tell me I got a cool name. I'm like, everyone should be telling you have a cool name, mate. That's awesome. He's like, he's an older bloke. And I was like, were your parents into classical music? He's like, oh, yeah, well, my mum was, I think he said like Irish or something. My dad was Austrian. And I was born in New Zealand, so a bit of a mix of everything.
Oh,
and I was like, that's sick, dude. I said, do you like German beer? He's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I don't go out of my way to have it, but when I went to Germany about 5 or so years ago, I had some, and I was like, have you tried the Rein? I was like, do you know about the Reinheitsgebot? He's like, oh, kind of. I was like, it's the purity thing. He's like, yeah, it's like they can only put certain ingredients in their beer.
So does he sound like that? Like, is he full Aussie?
Yeah, maybe
New
he would have had
Zealand, maybe.
He would have had a bit of a New Zealand twang to it, but all I could hear was like, yeah, mate, bloody, so.
Yeah, mate.
Shout out to Wolfgang.
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 Wolf, yeah.
The Wolfgang. What
What's
a name
like-
for English.
What's like the most German name you've ever heard?
That's probably one of them.
Wolfgang, yeah. Right?
Wolfgang.
I think Albrecht. Or
But
like,
let's say like a modern name, something you would actually hear.
no, I was just thinking in general, dude. Like, think about anything you can think of. Like, these days it'd be like fucking,
It's probably like the ones that you.
yeah,
the ones
Heinrich.
That exist.
Heinrich.
Heinrich,
fucking
yeah.
Heinrich Gunther Heine. Or something.
Gunther, Heinrich,
Or like Arnold
Wolfgang,
Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's like
Schwarzenegger.
the
is
be all
just-
end all, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. First names. I'm trying to think of what. One of my friend's brother. His name was Florian.
Florian, like Florian.
Florian, yeah.
I-A-N or I-E-N?
I have no idea,
Florian.
but that's pretty German, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Florian, isn't it? I don't know.
I thought Florian was more like Mediterranean,
Probably.
like old Italian, like
Yeah, it would be.
yeah.
Pardon you. I mean, bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you, sir.
Sorry to the viewers. Oh, I'm praying
The
you don't.
crowd.
I'm praying you don't taste it, bro. I think because I'm drinking the
Bubbles. The bubbly on top of the kraut.
Yeah, I've got
that. Yeah, what is that?
what is it? It's fucking something brothers or boys. What's that thing called?
Yeah, but what is it? It's
Oh, it's ginger beer.
ginger beer.
It's
Does
not
that make
bad.
you burpes?
I'm not sure, man.
It's probably just the bubbles.
Could be.
Florian.
Mm.
Julian. But that's like a normal Julian.
Look, let's not go into the details and the specifics and how it was built and who built it and how long it's been there because that's boring. People don't want to hear that shit. But the big dome thing in Las
The
Vegas,
sphere.
the sphere.
Boom.
Let's just break this down quickly and let's not go into the details of its construction because who gives a fuck. U2 was the first band to play there recently and it looked insane. Fuck U2.
Insane. Yeah.
And then I've seen other images of other things within the dome itself, the sphere, and it looks sick. So my question to you is, if you could go and see 3 things inside the sphere, either like a live event, a live music event. When I say live event, I mean like I said to Phil, like imagine if they got one of like the Mars rovers strapped with 4K plus cameras and you could watch the landing in the sphere. So you're looking at Mars firsthand.
That's definitely one of them, right?
Yeah. So that's
definitely
one. Yeah.
Because imagine the rover's got like the like microphones all around it as well. So it's 3D sound. I know we weren't going to go into detail, but I literally wrote down 160,000 speakers inside this dome. Apparently, every seat that you can sit in,
Has its own speaker.
18,000 seats, is going to sound basically the same. No matter
Wow,
where you're
that's
sitting,
sick.
whether you're right at the back, right at the front, you're going to get the same sound experience.
Mm.
18,000 seats, and the seats all vibrate too.
Oh,
So you're
sick.
like, so
Right.
imagine getting like real life Mars sounds, like the storm,
Oh yeah,
and just being like,
because Mars is stormy, isn't it? It's
oh
like,
yeah, it's just
there's like extremely strong winds,
extreme winds, like
a
all
cut,
the time,
like
almost.
cut your skin, right?
Basically.
Like razor storms.
Razor storm.
Bro, I remember going to anyone from Brisbane listening. They have the IMAX theater in South Bank. I'm not sure if it's still there. I think it's just a regular cinema now. But we went and saw like this documentary in primary school on like avalanches, and I remember going and just being like, "Whoa!" Can you imagine like a 3D, either like a horror movie or like a Jurassic Park film, or like Meg? Imagine Meg, but it's like vibrating 3D. You would shit. People would pass out and shit themselves.
You can't, like, I don't even, it's not 3D, right? Because
No,
it's
no,
not
it
gonna
is, but
pop,
imagine
it's
if they-
like surround.
I'm sure they can.
You can look up and there's the above. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
VR, but you're inside of it.
I'm sure they can add turn a few dials and make it 3D though. Yeah. All right, so we can both
Number
agree.
one is the Mars, for
is
sure.
like some kind of like space odyssey, right? Oh, you haven't been to the planetarium yet, because like when
we
you
said this last time we brought up the sphere.
when you
It's
sit
like a
down-
planetarium.
let's say this, let's say this, like looking at the stars and like zooming in with like telescopes within the sphere would come down under the same category as space, right? So that's out of the. All right, next thing, what one band or artist would you like to see musically in there, like David
I would want-
Guetta or something?
Nah, yeah, maybe, but I would probably want something more epic, like trancey, or even.
I'd want Hans Zimmer or something, dude.
Yeah, well, I was gonna use that as a separate thing, but
Okay.
if you wanted like something that's recorded music with visuals, you'd want something like super trancey where you can just have immersive visuals every up.
Yeah. All right, yeah, I agree.
But you're right. Number 3 has to be like a live Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, with like orchestral shit.
Okay,
Okay, we'll add another category. So that's 3 already. I agree with the transy thing. Like, I don't care if it's an artist I've never heard of. Just like,
oh wait.
just like a.
What about number 3?
I was going to say
Someone
movie.
Yeah, exactly. Someone gives it to you and says, "Hey, you've got the sphere for the next 2 hours. Only to play one movie. What movie are you playing?" Oh.
Mm. You know what? There's a lot of really intense movies out there, but I think I would choose either Dune,
Oh,
because Dune's like real epic and huge in the sandworms,
yeah.
or something fucking brutal like 300.
Oh yes, yeah.
Those big fucking fling, you know?
And obviously, the disclaimer is it is optimized for the wraparound screen,
Yeah.
so that you're basically inside
So
the environment,
Massive like blood splattering, and it's just like right in front of you. It'd be like, whoa.
all around you. Yeah,
What about you?
it would be. I was trying to think of something like epic, but all I could think of was something silly shit like Avengers or like Transformers, like something with lots of visual effects.
Avengers would be pretty lit, dude.
But I would probably agree.
Transformers would be fucked, man. Because like I hated the Transformer films because you can't. There's so much metal. You're like, which is the leg? How is it? What's its head? And they're just like metal things bashing each other. So I go on.
Yeah, I feel like they did that as the movies progressed too. Like the more Transformers they made, they were like, let's just make it all about fight scenes.
Yeah.
Whereas the
what
first
else?
ones had at
Yeah.
least like some storyline.
Yeah.
I am Optimus Prime. Show me your prime, pussy.
Prime. Prime piece of meat.
Yeah, Prime. Optimus Prime. He just sees chicks. Prime. Chicks are like, get a life,
Logan
Joker.
Paul Prime.
Yeah. Fuck off, Optimus Prime. Who would you like to see on a TED? Comedy? Would you just want to see like Joe Rogan or something? Like doing a comedy stand?
In the sphere.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean,
He'd be a
is it that different in
Nah,
a sphere to
that's a
see a
weird one.
comedian? Yeah.
Mm.
It would have to be something that's like immersive.
Right.
Imagine doing like one of those fucking movie world 3D fake roller coaster things
Oh yeah,
with
and
the
the
seat
seats,
vibrating
the
and you
seats
just
actually tilt and shit, bro. It'd be so good. Imagine, oh, dude, imagine going in there for a day and they've figured out how to set up like online multiplayer first person shooters. But you can run and kneel on the spot and your character's like that. Imagine going in the sphere that large so you can see planes going overhead and you can shoot at them and shit, bro.
Oh
Because you can
man.
think about it like, imagine the top of the sphere where you're standing at the base of the bottom level and you're looking up at the sphere. That would probably be the height of like one of the planes in Battlefield going overhead. So you could shoot an RPG at it, and if you hit it, it's like hit marker.
Do you think like with like they do in those simulations with like a running belt
Yeah, the
and
running
stuff?
disc. Yeah, you're running on like a
It'd be
circular
exhausting,
conveyor.
but imagine just
Yeah,
having
yeah,
an
it would be.
entire night of just drinking booze and just having a controller in your hand, but that as your screen and sound.
Bro, let me tell you something right now.
Bro.
Every man, and like in this day and age, we're kind of getting to the "Are you okay?" thing, right? For men, but every man, I feel like at the core of every man, there's a part of us that just wants to die in a glorious last stand, right?
I don't know if there is.
Oh well, I mean, it's dude. You go on YouTube and you look at like an epic video of like some kind of war thing. It's like not everyone's like crazy into war, right?
Mm.
But it's within all of us to just like be a hero. Like it's what every man wants, and it's not just like growing up with like family members who are being wars and stuff. Like every movie and your favorite characters and cartoons and comic books and stuff, they're heroes, and we all want to be heroes, right? And dudes these days when they're not very attractive and they have no purpose and they're not getting women or they're just not eating healthy and they've got these conflicts within themselves. You always see these motivational videos on Instagram and shit, and it's just like, get back into the gym, eat healthy, don't be a simp, do this and this, right? And a part of all that, another like, it's like running on the spot, aiming a gun, hijacking a vehicle, flying. Like these are all very physical hero, soldier, war-like aspects that men can't help but be a part of. Like, dude, you may not be a guy who likes violence, but you have to admit, like, being competitive and having that kind of like, fuck you, I won. It's a very guy thing. It's testosterone, right?
Yeah, it's a very testosterone thing. I think I'm probably not so much on the fuck you, I won. I'm more on the train of like the shit that I love in movies is when it's like you've been wronged and then the person is like the guy that's like gonna fucking right it all and fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Like Taken kind of shit. You
What's
know,
the diff, bro?
the dad that goes and chases his daughter down from the fucking human trafficking guys and just fucks them all up and you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
fuck them up.
Yeah. Well,
You're right.
Yeah, it's in you.
Yeah.
There it is. It's in you. Everyone has their own trigger. So what I'm saying is, I think there'd be a lot more mentally healthy and there'd be a lot less unhealthy, stressed out, anxious males if we all had a real life war simulator. Because like you're sitting on a couch eating Doritos.
While you're
Yeah, that's not very healthy. But if you're running on the spot, hey Jenny, how's Tom doing? He's good. Do you want to come over for coffee? Cindy comes over to Jenny's house. Where's Tom? He's in the war room.
in the war room.
You know, it's actually great. I thought it was going to be silly as the boys playing with their video games, but he's actually lost 6 kilos in 2 weeks. That's almost unheard of. Maybe I'm thinking of getting in there as well. Tom comes out.
He's shredded as fuck. He's
Shredded, sweaty. He's had a good day despite having a mad losing streak. Like he's just like, hey babe, how you going? Like he's just gone to war in his own comfort of his own home. Now he gets to come out and have sex with his wife and have a nice home cooked meal. That's what every man wants. We want to go out. We want to go out into war.
I don't know if it works like that though.
Oh, bro, well,
you come out and your wife's like, you haven't paid any attention to me. I'm not cooking your fucking meal.
Yeah, true. I mean, that's a whole nother kettle of fish.
I get it.
But like, certainly I feel.
But what you're saying, you're absolutely right. But the reason that guys get so obsessed with it is because it's easy and rewarding. You can watch numbers go up. You can get headshots whilst just moving your tiny little fingers.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was that physical, you probably wouldn't spend as much time, but you'd have a blast.
I don't think.
Because you'd get sweaty.
Yeah. Look, I don't think it would be.
It'd be like going to the gym.
I think the thing is like, first of all, you're paying for this all this equipment. I reckon it'd be above $5,000, right?
Way more.
So that's
You- $5,000, you can get a decent gaming computer.
So that's an investment in itself. So there's no way a guy's going to go, no, I don't like this. And then second, he's obviously going to be like, all right, men being competitive, no matter where you are on the planet, your religion, your color, your culture, every man is competitive in their own way. Some of them have been suppressed enough where they don't like to compete, but give them a foothold and they'll capitalize on it. So I think any man who's not necessarily inclined to exercise and movement and is just happy to twiddle his fingers sitting down eating Doritos, I think they'd be like, I'm going to rise to the challenge and actually be better. Because it's like paintball, dude.
And
how many fat, unhealthy people have you seen do paintball and afterwards? Do
Yeah.
they ever look angry afterwards? They love it, dude.
Yeah.
Paintball, literally, do paintball.
Just go and play paintball.
Paintball's
Or
so
like,
sick. Dude, you were like, go and play paintball.
Go and play it.
I saw the hand, but go on.
And what's the other one? Gel balling. That's the newest.
Airsoft.
Yeah. That's the newer one where you can people actually have their own
Replicas.
guns and shit. And
Real replica, yeah.
It's so good.
Bro, that's illegal in the NT, and I'm pretty sure it's
And here.
illegal in New South Wales. But
And
dude,
here, it's
in
only
Brizzy,
Queensland.
yeah, dude, in
Yeah, my brother's got one. All his mates have one, and they go gel blasting.
when literally like a week before I left for the NT back in like 2019, do you remember? Because I was a bit closer to Beanley because I was in Loganholme, but you were in Shayla. But like right across the street from Beanley High School was like an IGA, and then there was like a little corner store. And I just happened to walk in there one day, and he had like fucking replica Desert Eagle, and he had like scars and like M16s and M4s, and I was like,
And they were gel guns.
yeah, but they were like replica, like they
Oh,
weren't
wow.
like plastic with the orange tip. They were like the weight and
Yeah,
everything.
these are metal, and
Yeah,
they got
yeah.
like batteries and shit
Yeah.
to power the.
And he had like the big sacks of the gel things. He's like, you soak them in water for a while, and blah blah blah. And he had like the clips. You put them in the clip, and yeah, you held one. You would have held David's.
I went gel balling with them.
Oh really?
It's so cool. It's like
Where'd you do it?
It's like a mini version. It was pretty close too. I can't remember, but it's like a mini version of paintball.
Did you-
It doesn't hurt as much. It still hurts. Doesn't hurt as much. So we would just, instead of getting like the full overalls, we just like in a t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
But you still get like the goggles and stuff. But
Suppress the snake.
But-
did you? Because obviously David had his gun, but did someone lend you theirs?
yeah, and like one of his mates had a couple of guns.
Like a
So I was
sidearm
like,
or something.
No, it was a proper.
Nice. So is it like? Can you change the setting to like
I'm
burst?
pretty sure I had burst. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is sick.
But I remember the dude was super chill too. I was like, dude, can I hold that? And he's like, absolutely. And it was only like $219 or something.
So you know how we're like everyone is a bit competitive and mental. When you go paintballing, do you go a bit crazy when you're paintballing, or are you tactical?
Here's
or-
the thing, right? I've only ever done paintballing once,
Whoa,
and I was probably like 13.
bro, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So,
It's crazy.
and this is the thing, right? The first and only time I ever went paintballing, I never got shot in the head. It was only like shoulders and shit. But like, dude, and I remember, and I'm so proud of this. This is one of my highlights. I can't remember the whole day, but I have this instilled in my brain. I was hiding behind a drum, and like the game had just started, and there was a briefcase in the center of this like hill, and we had to reach
Yeah,
it.
and get
It was the one out in
briefcase, yeah.
Ipswich, that one with all the broken down military vehicles
I
at the
don't
front.
remember which one's which, but yeah.
And I remember the first thing I did, like we ran, they blew the whistle, everyone ran. I like moved to this wood thing. Next thing, boom, moved to this drum. Bullets are going everywhere. I turned this corner and I just saw the dude. He was probably like 10 meters away, and I just went, shot him right in the face. And and he dropped, and he was like, oh, got shot. And that was at that moment I was like, this is fucking sick. I belong here.
This is so good.
And then just went at it. And a couple of times, I'd run and like do a front flip down into like a gutter and shit. Just like
Yes.
completely unnecessary, but I went off, dude. It was so fun.
I've literally like pulled my shoulder muscle, like torn my supraspinatus doing paintball by like sliding and like putting my hand out and sliding, and I just went, ah!
Oh,
And I was like,
bro.
ah, God, like I was sliding behind cover.
Fuck.
But I
Let's go.
yeah, we got it, man. Have you ever done the zombie mode? So there was like a
Have you
hill.
been in New South Wales? Have you been one here?
I don't think so. No,
Just Queensland.
just Queensland. But there's like
How many
a zombie
times have you
mode.
gone? Sorry.
Probably Not too many, maybe 5, 6 times.
Sick. Yeah.
But
alright.
like, it's so exhausting every time. Like
It's so
you get
good.
so sweaty. But there's a hill with like lots of trees and covers everywhere, and the bottom of the hill are the zombies, the team at the bottom. So you get to go when you get shot. All you got to do is run back to the barrel and then restart. And then the top is the humans, and you only get 1 life. So if you
So
get
you're just
shot,
getting
you're out
shot
for
like
the
a
round.
cunt. You're just getting nailed.
So I'm on the zombie team, and I'm just going absolutely kamikaze. Like, covers? What covers? Like, I'm just running up the middle, just going, and then just go, bah, bah. I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
Run back, come back again. Hide behind the cover, wait for a little gap, and then just be like, boom, 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 boom,
Did you get anyone?
Oh, probably. but
Probably, yeah. That's war, eh? I don't know if I
I
shot
was just
someone.
like, bah,
yeah.
man. And it hurts so bad.
It's the one fucked up thing about paintball. Here's the thing about paintball, right? When you get shot, you're supposed to put your hands up, turn around, and go back like 2 or 3 meters to like a last
A
checkpoint.
lot of the time, even all the way back to the barrel point.
Oh, okay, true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, like, when you turn around, people are just using you as target practice. And here's the thing:
Nah, not if you're going with like proper mature people, because that shit's nasty.
yeah.
'Cause
I remember,
you don't want to get hit here while your arms up. That is the worst.
it's painful, bro. I remember when I went with my dad and my brother, and my brother got so pissed off because he was putting his hands up after he got shot and walking back and people are hitting him. He took his mask off and threw it down. Went, "Fuck you, cunts!" And the guy blew the whistle and stopped the whole game.
Oh yeah,
Didn't
you can't
call-
take your mask
He
off.
didn't call my brother out, but he said, "Do not take your masks off throughout the firing," blah, blah. And Sean was like, "Oh god," but
Yeah, because that can fuck up your eye.
yeah, of
You'll
course,
be blind.
yeah, bust your teeth and shit. But at the same time, I'm like, I didn't. A couple of times I got shot when I did it. Like I was like, "Oh, you fucking cunts!" But at the same time, I was on the opposite side of the thing where someone would get shot and they get up and I'd be like, "I need to check the bullet drop."
You
Boom, boom.
dick.
I'd put a shot in, someone would go, "Okay, I have my distance down," and then I'd move on. I wouldn't go 1, 2, 3, 4 on someone. I'd just be like, pop. Sometimes I'd miss them, but I just
do
knew.
that. You know you can do that with a stationary object.
Yeah,
but
yeah, true.
I went for my friend's brother's bucks, and his brother was.
I've never been to a Bucks. Are they lit?
It was lit, and him and his mates were all frontline soldiers, proper soldiers, and we went paintballing, and
Were they taking it serious?
he was wearing a bright pink like ballerina tutu kind of thing, you know, with the frilly shit, so you could see him sticking out like a sore thumb, but they were so tactical, it was ridiculous. Like we would run in, we'd be like, yeah, and we're like, where the fuck are they? And they'd just be like,
They were calling like
they're doing hand signals and shit.
they were calling in
and I
chopper
was like,
strikes.
Pink, he's over there. And we're like, oh, I'm hit.
Wait, so you were versing them?
Yeah, like I think I was on the opposite team at one stage because I think it was almost like those blokes against everyone else because there was like they were the minority.
Bro, were they calling airstrikes on you and shit?
Basically,
We need a hero.
Oh, it was crazy. Plus, everyone was pretty drunk.
Mm.
Like we were drinking on the bus there.
Bro, I've never done a drunk. I reckon I'd be like,
It was
because
wild.
like,
you're not supposed to
you're
be, so we all
sweating,
had
bro.
to like
yeah,
pretend like we weren't. 'Cause
yeah.
no, we're not under the influence.
It's
No.
tiring, bro. It's tiring.
It's
like.
so tiring.
We gotta look. Wait, let's go soon because I want to go somewhere.
Absolutely. Let's write that down.
Wait,
I'm so keen to do paintball again. And like,
can you do night ones?
oh, I don't know. I've never looked at
Because I know Jeff's coming here on a Friday. Friday night. I think he's coming around 6 or 7, and then we've got Oktoberfest the next day. I don't know what day he's going back,
Dude,
but
we're going to be so hung.
we'd be way hungover to do it on a Sunday. Hey,
We're going to
so
be so hungover.
if we could get a Friday night one, that'd be sick, dude. If possible.
If
but
that's a thing.
It'd
yeah.
be probably one of those lame indoor ones with all the fucking blow up inflatables. Fuck that. I want to be outside with like
Yeah, we
wood.
want to. We want to have shelter and buses.
Yeah.
We want a bus.
Yeah.
Somewhere there needs to be a bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember the second map we went to, it was like wooden fucking, it'd be like wall with 2 windows but no roof.
Yeah.
Some of them had roofs and shit, and then it'd be like a broken down car and then like ditches and shit, like trenches. And like people were like it was pretty good steady advance. People like advancing and tuk, 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 and it's just like because you're like hiding next to wood. It was so sick because you turn around the corner, fire at someone, then duck behind, and be like, tuk, tuk, tuk. It'd be like,
Oh yeah, it's hitting the wood like,
yeah,
and then like the slats between the wood, the spray of the
Yeah,
paint's
and you're
coming
like,
through. You're like, ah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
bullets.
Yeah. But at one point, my brother was across from me. He was probably like 5 meters away. And I was like, because you got the mask on, you're like, and he was like, huh? And I stuck my hand out, like, come here. My hand got shot.
Oh,
And I remember going, oh, fuck. And I was right at the back too, so I didn't have to walk back. And I remember peering out as soon as my hand got shot. And these people were like 10, 15 meters away. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, don't venture out there, fellas. There's a sniper. He's got talent.
exactly.
You know? It's like Saving Private Ryan.
Exactly.
The
But
sniper's got talent.
the worst is if you get hit on like the pinky,
Oh.
like while you're holding your gun and you get smacked straight on the
I don't
pinky.
think I
You
got
actually
that.
bleed.
Yeah, true.
It makes
I just
you
got
bleed.
like the lats and the shoulders, really.
Oh, badly. Oh, paintball. What a fun time.
Mm. So
Yeah, dude, going with professionals is pretty scary.
that would be tight. That'd be very tight.
Now, what did you send me, Joel? You wanted me to tell you to tell me about something.
Yeah, go.
Tell
what
me
was it?
about the
Egyptian thing.
Ramses and the gold of the pharaohs.
So on the 18th onwards in Australia, but and the 18th onwards in Sydney, sorry, but I'm sure it's toured around Australia. Ramses the pharaoh from ancient Egypt, a lot of his artifacts will be displayed in the Australian Museum in New South Wales.
Oh, it's like real shit.
Real ancient Egyptian gold and
Oh.
fucking trinkets and shit. And I'm so keen. However, I checked the tickets today and I got two of the ladies I work with onto it. My boss and my other boss. My boss, she told me that practically all the tickets are sold out.
Oh, shit.
And I said to her, two things. On the one end, I'm so stoked that there are people out there that still appreciate, history and these artifacts enough to sell out tickets.
Mm.
But on the other end, I'm super stoked super bummed because I can't go. But she said there may be some available spots, like single ticket spots around December and shit, like really late around the time, like Christmas time when everyone's going to be away.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
will I be in Sydney at that time? Probably not. But I'm so sorry if you smell that at some point, Phil. It's just pure beef.
Pure gasoline.
I gotta light that.
I'm not going to
candle.
lie to you. That smells
smells-
like pure gasoline
60% of the time it works.
every time. Hey.
So yeah,
That's
but
crazy, man.
do you like going to because that's always a cool thing I've noticed. I just gotta go on a bit of a rant here, but a lot of the people that I've met in my life, mainly women as well, like even the types that you wouldn't expect it. I think it comes from because when you're in primary school, you go on a lot of excursions, and a lot of the time you're going to like aquatic centers and museums, right? And it's always a great feeling as a kid going on an excursion, and everyone's like, it's like you're at school and there's still rules, but at the same time, it's like you're a bit free because you're out and about, right? And there's such a wonderful nostalgic feeling with that it accompanies that. So when I've met a lot of people in adulthood and I say, or even if I look on their Instagram story or something, I'll be like, oh, what are you up to? And they're like, oh, I didn't do much on the weekend. I was just like walking around, got a coffee in the city, went to the museum or an art gallery. I'm like, you did that? And they're like, yeah. I was like, do you like art? And they're like, not necessarily, but it was just cool to go there. And I was just like, I'm exactly the same.
Mm.
Like, you may not read every single plaque next to every painting or even understand or want to understand what these artworks are or about like an ancient mammoth that died and its bones are preserved in front of you, but just being there in like a hall of knowledge and history, there's such a strong nostalgic feeling that accompanies that, and it's just wonderful.
Museum, I get. Art gallery, I'm not so much interested in. Unless it's like crazy sculptures or something. I like that shit.
Sculptures are sick, dude.
But like museums are fucking cool. Like
yeah,
when I was in the States, I went to a car museum, which was
shit.
epic. Like they had
The old Ford car museum.
they had like they had like the one of the actual DeLoreans that they used for Back to the Future,
You
and
would
like
have loved that, dude.
and like one of the IOI cars from like Ready Player One, like those tank looking things. Like they had all these like movie cars
Did
and
they have like Herbie? Herbie Goes Bananas? The buggy? The
oh
Beetle?
no, I don't think they had Herbie.
What about
But then they had
Knight
like
Rider?
heaps of supercars as well, like crazy cars and like old school Ferraris. And there was like one room that would be sort of like I mean, you can liken it to this Egyptian thing where it's a traveling piece where they're like, this is here for now, but it's going to be in a different museum soon because it's like really, really collectible shit, like one of the first Ferraris and stuff like that. So that tickles my pickle. I'm like, oh my God. People invented this. People thought this was cutting edge back then. Like it was the bee's knees. Oh, and they had a Cybertruck, one of the Tesla Cybertrucks there.
Oh, the big
The big
blocky
Ute.
chrome
Yeah,
ones?
yeah.
Oh, dude, I would have killed to have seen that. Did
And
you
then
get to sit in it?
one of those, like it must have been just like a not replica. What do you call it? Just a model of like a Tesla robot. You know the robots that
Yeah.
they're making. Yeah.
Could you sit in the truck though?
No.
Oh,
This is all
spear 'em.
museum, man. You can't even touch.
Mm.
Not touchy.
When I went to Hawaii and we were just walking around, me and my ex, there was a fucking Tesla showroom, just like a random right near the beach. And we went and sat in there and we sat in like 2 or 3 different Teslas. And they weren't like the normal ones you ride around here. They were like a bit more luxurious. It was kind of like a Bentley.
Model S and stuff.
Yeah. And it was just like 20 drink holders and screens and shit. And it was just like, I will never afford this.
Yeah.
Ever.
I will never have this. Charlie.
Jesus.
Going
I think
crazy tonight.
maybe
It's
I've
a
got
crowd.
maybe I've got reflux. I don't know.
No, it's the sauerkraut. It's getting him.
Yeah.
But
dude.
museum. So you want to go though to this Egyptian thing?
I would like to, but I don't think I will.
You
I
don't
don't think
so.
But another one of my work colleagues said when he went to the actual museum in Cairo in Egypt and saw this stuff. So I can't wait to go to Egypt.
Could you imagine like trying to run one of those, the traveling one? Like that shit is so valuable.
Oh
Imagine
my
trying
God.
to travel that.
Bro.
Like I'm fucking scared enough about my own luggage, let alone carrying around millions of dollars worth of ancient artifacts.
Dude.
Bruh.
You gotta wear gloves and like have like airtight glass cases.
Make sure nobody comes and steals your golden egg.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Bro, there's a fucking when I got to Sydney last year, I was probably in Sydney for about 3 months. And then I went to one of the museums in Sydney. It wasn't the big one, it was like a second big one. I think it was the one in Darlinghurst or something like that. I don't know what one it was. But they had like a bunch of little Buddha statues. I've got it on Instagram. And I just thought I was just like a cute little like a Oriental exhibition. And the ladies there said to me, the custodians, they said, what you have here, these were dug up ancient Buddha like little Buddha statues, ancient, and they were found in Korea.
Oh.
And this is the only time they will ever be toured in Australia ever.
Yeah.
And I was just fortunate enough to rock up there and see them. I could touch
At
them.
random.
They weren't covered in glass. I could just go up in there and see them. And that was one of them.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
What does it say? It says 500 arhats of Changyangso's temple. Arhats, that's what they were.
That's crazy. Will it focus? That is the question. Oh, there it is.
So that was one of them there. And they had little descriptions next to it. Was like, here is a woman holding a saleswoman. Here's a man who's crying and stuff. So for me, that was like a nice little thing for me. It was like
Nice
not
win.
like a haha, I got to see this and you didn't, but it was just like at some point in time in my life, I'll probably never see this again. And I just felt
you probably won't.
I was very
Because
grateful.
it will only be here once.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how many little things like that there are where, like, we've missed so many things that we probably only have once in a lifetime opportunity to see. Wasn't there like, there was something crazy? Because a lot of stuff in museums is like one of one, right? You'll never find that thing again. So like it travels a lot. So you'd have to like find the right museum to see the right thing at the right time.
Mm.
Because there's things like shit that they get out of tombs and stuff, like
Mm.
mummies and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh man, that shit's so lock and key.
Yeah.
But imagine, think about this for a second. I don't want to get into statistics and stuff. I'm sure there's like you can probably calculate it to the point by point by point, and you'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. That's probably not as mystical almost as I'd expect. But when you think about the, what is it, 7 billion people on the planet plus whatever, and then all the shit we're doing and lives and people do, and then like you might go to a random fucking country at a random point in time, and you may not be in a popular fucking tourist area, and it may not be the popular time of the year or whatever, and somehow you'll run into someone you know.
Oh man.
And it's like, what
happened to me?
It's the fuck, dude, it happens to me all the time. And it's just like, what are the odds of all the gazillion people on this planet that I run into you?
Yeah.
You know?
So I have a really crazy story. I'm working at a dealership at Mitsubishi. Right across the road, the sister dealership was a Holden dealership. There was a sales guy at the Holden dealership. I knew him, like wasn't like friends with him. But one of the sales dudes there, we'd gone out together and stuff with a bunch of the guys at the dealership. And I'm on a Kentucky in South America.
Yeah.
Near like where Machu Picchu is and stuff. When we're at this little town where we're getting ready to do like the Inca Trail and stuff, and we're just walking, and we're walking as a group, and we're like, okay, we're going to the hotel, and I just happen to go, oh, I'm just gonna go grab a bottle of water from the convenience store over there. I run over and I just hear this, Phil? And I was like, and it's this dude that works next door to me that just happens to be there on a trip at the exact same time.
And you would have never met him
what?
if you didn't go and get
If
that
I
bottle
didn't
of
go
water.
get the bottle of water.
Bro, see, and then that's like our little monkey animal brains will only see that as two things: coincidence or some kind of fate, right?
Yeah. But like the coincidence part probably means there's probably things where that's happened more often where you've just missed it.
Yeah.
I didn't get the bottle of water. We never knew. And maybe months down the track, I'm like, oh, when I was in South America. Oh, I was in South America. Oh, we were there at the same time. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Weird that we didn't run into each other. Oh, it's not weird. It's a big place.
Dude.
But we did run into each other. What the fuck?
Do you know what's fucked up? Imagine the amount of photos that other people have taken of family members or other people around that you're in the background of. I'd wager I'm at least 15 to 20, bro, because like so many times I'm walking, people taking photos, selfies, and I'm like, I always try to make faces in the background. And
exactly.
I'm probably on someone's Insta, like, ignore the asshole in the background, you know?
But like at the same time, sometimes you like make eye contact with them or like you have a tiny interaction, like you're like, and they're like, you just photobombed me. I'm like, yeah. And you think about it, you're like, they're going to look at that later and be like, oh, that's that guy that photobombed. Never see them again.
You'll never see
You're just
them
on someone's photo.
Yeah. Do you know
somewhere in the world.
Do you know what's also wild? I forgot the exact statistic, but it was like everybody in their life at some point will walk past 10 murders, was it? Or 30 murders or something?
Murderers? Like,
oh, no, I think it was like 10 murderers, but like, or maybe it's like at some point everyone will walk past a murder scene or something.
A scene?
Like someone had just died.
Oh, like, yeah, right.
And I
like
wonder
you're
to
walking
myself,
past a little home where someone has just been killed inside of or something. That's wild. Yeah, of course. Or like you get little statistics like we eat an average of X amount of cockroaches through our lifetime and we don't even know
spiders
it
and
or
shit.
something. Yeah.
It has been said that the average person can unknowingly walk past 36 murderers in their lifetime.
Murderers, yeah. So you're just walking past a person that's killed someone else. Yeah.
Think about the stranger who you brush shoulders with on the bus, the person standing in front of you in the line to grab a coffee, or the passenger who sat down next to you on a plane.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Like, if it's like a dude who's fought in a war, that's one thing.
I was about to say exactly that. Like, what if it's a soldier that's like actually killed lots of people?
Yeah.
Do you call that a murderer or do you just call that?
Yeah.
What is that? Like
Yeah.
we
Paid.
worship some murderers and we
Paid.
don't others.
Yeah.
You were paid to do that. You're fine.
Yeah.
You
Dude, I
served your country.
can I actually say I actually had this. That's why I brought it up, and it's funny. It kind of tied into our convo. I thought about this today.
Oh,
Legit. I talked to this random dude at work. I'm not going to name names, obviously,
obs.
but he's an older fella, and he's just like, when you speak to him, you're like, this guy's really nice. Like, defenses down nice. Like, I feel like I could tell him my life, and it's just like, how many people have you killed, bro?
Yeah.
You killed people, bro?
You've murdered someone, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've murdered someone.
Yeah. And then you talk to people, and like, sometimes you get along with strangers, really get along with them to the point where it's just like, you think to yourself, well, I've thought this on many occasions. I've spoke to like a random, especially in the art game, because like a lot of artists out there are a bit kooky. And I've sat there and I've spoke to someone, I've been like, if this person was a murderer, would they like me so much to let me in on the kill? Or would they want to kill me? That's an interesting thing, you know?
It's an interesting thing. You haven't watched the latest Black Mirror, have you?
I never watched any of that.
Oh, dude,
What was the black-
so interesting.
The Black Mirror where the dude takes acid and they freaked out. The
I haven't watched them
eyebrows
all,
guy.
but
I never watched any of them.
I've watched maybe the first season and then this latest season because I heard crazy shit about it.
With Brother Sims in it, the black dude, the fucking Avengers guy, that guy.
He's probably in one episode.
Is that the one where he plays the video game one and he's like gay with that other dude?
Yeah.
I saw a dude break that down on YouTube.
Dude, that is a crazy weird
That's
episode.
fucking
Yeah, it's weird.
if they're all as
love
weird
how
as
they're
that.
weird concepts, man.
Yeah.
But one of them is like, it's the weirdest thing. One of them is like this chick she's like, she's an Indian girl and she works at this shoe store and it's back in like the 70s when they were like all stressed about migrants and immigration
The
and stuff.
racism's
Yeah,
involved.
and racism. And she works at a shoe store and she gets real angry at people because they're disrespecting her. And then she goes to the basement or something and then she finds this little token thing with like a devil symbol and she gets possessed by the devil. And the devil rocks up and he takes human form and he's like, all right, you have to commit 3 murders in the next 3 days. Otherwise the world will end, kind of thing. And she's like, oh, who am I going to do? And then they're like walking at night. He's like, you got to do it. She's like, no, I can't. And this dude's
Is the
walking
devil
his
voice
dog.
like, you gotta do it?
No, he takes the form of like this, I don't remember who, but this black artist.
Can
like,
only she see him?
Yeah, only she could see him. And then this dude's walking his dog and they're like next to this little river. And he's like, are you all right? Because she's like talking to nobody, like talking to herself basically. And he's like, are you okay? And the devil guy's like, he's a perfect candidate. He actually is a like a pedo. And he like makes her see him like molesting his daughter and shit.
Oh.
And then she's like, oh yeah. And then she like clobbers him with a brick and kills him and he falls into the water. And I'm like, isn't that interesting? Like, if you knew what dark shit people got up to and what you would do about it. Because like as soon as she sees it, she's like, fuck this guy. I'm fucking him up.
Mm. Yeah, if I could see
It's a really interesting concept because he's like, this is the person's future. They're going to do this. They're going to, like, he's like, he molests his daughter for like 6 years and then she ends up killing herself at 28. Like, he tells the future to this chick and she's like, well, I'm okay with fucking this guy up.
Yeah. Bro, can I just say that's interesting because I wrote a script, not a script, but I wrote an idea ages ago, maybe like 6 years ago, and I still have it on my phone saved. I'm happy to divulge it here because no one's really going to pay
Someone's
attention.
hacked it.
Yeah, I called it Red Tide or something, right? And it was great. So the concept is this dude's a lawyer and I wanted to play the lawyer and he was just like a real, like, he's an honest and like hardworking, loyal guy, but people just walk on him because he tries to stick to values and he's just like, tries to do his best and people like nice guys finish last, but still he tries to just be the best version of like a judicial officer, right? And when you first meet the character, he always talks to himself and you hear this voice in his head go like, and it's like, I wanted the voice in his head, which is a demon, to be really philosophical, like really poke holes in humanity. So like, and so the whole movie's about him defending this real fucking silver spoon, hotshot, rich guy asshole who's like completely dismissive of him. You're my lawyer, just figure it out. And like it'll be like he's sitting in the room trying to do all this paperwork. Like you hit a guy in a car, there's nothing he can do. Like you had 20 witnesses. He's like, "You're my lawyer. I'm paying you. Get the fucking job done." You know, he sits on his phone while this guy's like, and the lawyer doesn't bite back. He just takes it, you know, because he's just like, "This is my fucking life." He's a bit of a pushover or whatever. And then, while all this stuff happens, he always has this voice in his head. It's like, "The folly of man is that they are weak." Like this thing's always playing in his head, and he's like, "Shut the fuck up." And the guy's like, "Did you say something?" He's like, "No, I'm sorry." And so you can't tell. So the main character, the lawyer, keeps talking to this voice in his head as if it's a demon. But I feel like I wanted to make it out like people watching the movie think he's just schizophrenic in the end. Like he's got like a split personality,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Here's a kid. Oh, I love this dude. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. So, and then it's just like he'll sit there and like he'll be on the bus going home because someone smashed his car. He's like a real like did you ever see Fight Club?
Yeah.
Edward Norton's character is just real downtrodden and just like bags under his eyes and just hates his life. And he's just like, "What am I doing here?" And then you've got fucking Brad Pitt, who's just like, ba ba boom ba ba ba, real outgoing and stuff. And Edward Norton's just like, "I'm so fucking tired." He's like that. He's basically Edward Norton from Fight Club. And then, towards the end, so every now and then, like not every now and then, but every single interaction and thing that's going in his life is just this voice in his head putting him down and just wanting to be released. He's like, why do you accept the insults of these weaker human beings? Let me have them. Give yourself into me. And he's like, "You're not having me. Shut up." Like he's like all this thing wants him to say, like a vampire. A vampire can't come through your front door until you accept them. Please come in. So it's like this thing's trying to break down his barrier between his soul and this thing trying to get in and control his body. But I want to make it out like the whole time people just thinking, "Oh, this dude's just a schizophrenic," right? There's no demon inside him. He's just hearing voices in his head. But a really, really just philosophical, unbelievably intelligent being that just sees through human beings. Sorry if I'm rambling. Right at the end, I had written a scene where right at the end of the court case, the hotshot dude goes, like, this lawyer's put so much effort into this case and he knows he's going to win it even though the hotshot guy's a piece of shit. And the hotshot guy comes to him at the end of the courtroom and goes, "I'm going to plead guilty. You know what? I'm going to get out of this. I spoke to a solicitor. It's fine. Thank you for your help, but I'm going to get it out. So you're going to lose this case, but I don't care. It's a couple mil, whatever." And then the main character, the lawyer, is just like, and the guy's like over there talking to people within the stands, and he's like laughing and shit in the courtroom. Everyone's kind of like filing out, and the judge is like, "Court dismissed," bangs the gavel. While everyone's leaving, the main character finally snaps, right? And he's like, like maybe he'll say something almost biblical and poetic, like, "Beelzebub, I do not care what you do to me or my soul. Just take him, wreak havoc upon these people, make them suffer." Like he finally allows this voice in his head to win. And then right at the end there, you hear this like cracking noise, like flesh tearing, right? And the hotshot asshole dude and all the other people in the courtroom are giggling. Everyone in the courtroom kind of stops and they turn around and look at this lawyer, and he turns and like looks at them, and his face is distorted like he's slowly turning into a fucking demon.
Yeah.
Like spiky teeth. And it just like the camera zooms in, it's like and it just freezes on his face like Exorcist style. So the whole time this dude was fighting a demon inside his body.
But everyone just thought he was a schizophrenic.
And then at the end, he's just like, "My soul is yours. Take me as long as you slaughter the people in this room." And then it ends on that, and then the credits start rolling. So people were like, "Oh shit! Ah!" Like you know, this demon's gonna fuck these people up, bro. Would you watch that movie?
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Fucking I wrote that.
I'd watch that as a Black Mirror episode for sure.
Yeah, true. It could be. I'd say you could probably condense it, but
Well, I mean, Black Mirror episodes, they're like 40 minutes to one of them was an hour and 15.
True.
It's almost a full film.
Yeah. 90. Yeah. So there you go. I'm sorry if I rambled, but
Yeah, but I reckon Black Mirror I reckon Black Mirror would be one of the funnest things to make. I think they're all different directors though, so I think it's just like a collaboration.
yeah.
So imagine being able to do just like the craziest, weirdest out there story like that,
Mm.
and someone actually pay you and sign it and put it on a show. Like imagine that idea could be a Black Mirror episode.
Oh, dude, you know what I'd say to that? Julie, dude, that'd be so good.
It's so good.
I would fucking to be paid to do that. Oh, so
Ugh.
good.
But that's why I like Black Mirror. They're really strange. Obviously, a lot of them are very weird,
Yeah,
sci-fi, but a lot of them are pretty cool.
yeah. So lately, when I was younger, my introduction into anime cartoons was I used to go to morning school care, like after school care. For those of you who don't know, if we have any non-Australian listeners, morning school care was before class started, you'd get dropped off at school, but you'd have carers there who would take care of the kids and they'd make them breakfast and we'd watch TV and you could just doodle around and fuck around and then class would start and you'd go. Your parents would sign you in and out. Just because my parents used to start super early in the morning. And the same thing after school care, my parents would, like I'd finish school at like 2:33 in primary school, but my parents needed to pick me up, but they'd finish at like 4 or 5. So I'd still be at school 2 hours after everyone finished and they'd make you lunch in the afternoon and shit. It was cool. But so in the mornings, I remember I was in like year 1 or 2 and we get there and we used to have this thing in Australia called Cheese TV, on like
Oh
channel
yeah.
9 or 10, yeah. And Cheese TV would play Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. And so those were the 2 animes that I watched. It was my introduction, right? And I mean, some animes have come and gone. Like Naruto was sick. I watched all of that, Shippuden and stuff. And
This is the thing that I need to like wrap my head around because everyone talks about animes and stuff, and I'm like, I know nothing about animes.
Mm.
But that is anime, right? Dragon Ball Z was like a very popular mainstream anime.
Correct. It's so most things start off as a manga, manga. Most Aussies call it manga, but it's manga, right? And manga is literally like a Japanese comic.
Right.
So they start off as a comic and then they animate them basically,
Nice.
right? Voice actors and all that jazz. So there was originally a show that came out in the 80s. It was called Dragon Ball when the main character Goku was a child. And then years later in the early 90s, mid 90s, it was like Dragon Ball Z and he was an adult. And then they had different adaptations, Dragon Ball GT, etc. So
and this was all on Cheese TV.
yeah. So around the time I was probably mid to early high school, one cartoon came on which was called One Piece. Piece, like peace. One Piece. And it's about like pirates and shit. Like but like anime pirates. It's fucking sick. And I watched maybe 3 seasons of it and then I kind of lost track of it, right? And now One Piece has become one of those animes that is like one of the most popular at this point in time.
Really?
Yeah, real popular. Like Dragon Ball Z has ended, but they released a couple of like newer movies in the last 4 or 5 years ago, and they got lots of views. Like everyone was like, "Dragon Ball Z's back! This is sick!" And then it was like, whatever. One Piece has been going on for nearly 30 years now. The same writer and the same voice actors and everything. Crazy.
Like Simpsons.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like yeah. And so because it's so hyped up and I get a lot of feeds of it, I was like, you know what? And I work with a couple of dudes who like it. I've gone back and I've started to watch it again. But I picked off from where I left off when I was in high school.
Oh.
Because I remember the early seasons. So now every night I'm going home and I'm watching about 6 or 7 episodes. I go for about 20 minutes each. And I've probably watched, I think I'm up to episode 200 something, and there's about 1,000 episodes.
Oh my God.
So
So
maybe
much
1,000.
content,
So
right?
yeah, so I'm not 1,000. I wouldn't say 1,000, maybe 600 something, but The writer Oda, something Oda. He's a Japanese fella. I think he's getting old, and everyone's concerned that he's not going to be able to finish it. But anyways, I'm watching that, and recently, like last month, they released the most recent episodes, recent episodes, and you can watch the most recent episodes to the first episodes. The quality of anime is like way good, and apparently some of the fights in the most recent ones, like there's a character called Sanji and there's a character called Zoro, two different dudes, and even Luffy, the main character, their fights were some of the most viewed things on the planet, dude.
What?
On the planet, bro. The most
That's
streamed,
crazy.
viewed thing on the planet.
Was an anime fight.
Yes. 3 anime fights.
That's so wild
That's
to me.
hectic, dude.
But to me, I instantly go to like, my brain just goes statistics and it goes, that just illustrates like the vast majority of population that spends their time watching streamed things are probably people that would be also into that sort of stuff. So they're probably consuming a fuck ton of other content, but they're also going to be watching these crazy anime fights.
Yeah.
So like,
Do you know
that's wild.
Do you know what's cool is like if you think about a kid from America who grew up in the 40s, right? He was like born in maybe like after the war, he grew up in the 50s and shit, and he read Superman comics and stuff. If he's still alive now, he may, in his 80s or 90s or whatever, he may still be into comics, right? He may like the Superman movies or the Avengers films. It's the same in Japan. So like grown-ass men and women in Japan, grown-asses in 50s and 60s, are reading manga or watching animes. And there's this dude I follow on Instagram and YouTube. He walks around and he's working on his English. He walks around and he interviews people and he goes, I'll send you the thing so you can add it right here.
What's it like living in Japan as half Japanese, half India?
I think
He's a cool guy. He basically goes around and asks Japanese people questions, and he asks gaijin, which is like foreigners, what's it like? Have you dated a Japanese person? Or he'll ask Japanese people, have you dated foreigners? What's that like? Or how long have you're half Japanese and half this. What's it like living in Japan with being a half caste? And people say, it's all right, but obviously people still think I'm a foreigner and I don't feel comfortable here. I don't feel comfortable being half American, half Japanese and things like that. He's really cool and he asks really interesting questions. And one of the things he did, he asked like, he goes up to like girls, which I thought was interesting. What's your favorite anime? And they're like, oh, I watch this, I watch that. And coming from girls, like young Japanese women, like if you went up to if we were in high school, or if you went to a high school now, when we went to our old high school in Springwood and went up to this couple of young women in high school and said, hey, fucking, what's your favorite anime? They'll be like, ew, what's that?
Oh, I don't reckon. I reckon there's probably more of the younger generation that would be into it.
Yeah, or they'll be like, oh yeah, my brother watches One Piece, but it's like, it's kind of cool, but whatever. But like these girls in Japan were like, oh, I can name 3 for you right now.
I remember I remember especially girls back in school would be talking about like Sailor Moon, which is obviously an anime. And I was like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sailor Moon.
I never got into any of it. Like I never watched Dragon Ball Z. I never watched any of it.
There's things about anime. Here's the thing.
And I'm into a lot of weird shit.
Yeah.
But I never got into anime.
Can I just break something down funny for you? So growing up watching anime, it was always English dubbed. So they'd be like,
it'd be like super bad.
Oh, dude. So they'd be like, yeah. And there's a lot of and like the Americans would be like, come, you guys are so stupid. No, you are. I missed you guys. Like that, right? or like one of the characters will be like, I've come here to kill you because you took my father's life and now I'm going to end yours. And then you look at the actual Japanese version with English dubbed and it'd be like, for the life you took, you must suffer what you have done. So I'm going to kill you, but it's going to be slowly. So
Oh. So they've just simplified the,
the
shit
English
out
version
of
is disgustingly simple, right?
it. Yeah.
The Japanese version is very poetic. And those
So
moments,
the
and
English version is almost like
it's trash. I'll show you
they've
examples.
gone too childlike. They've
Yeah.
gone marketed it to children, whereas the
Yes.
Japanese one is like sophisticated.
100%.
Yeah.
And if you look at and those moments in the English dubbed ones where they're like, ha, or they'll be like, and it'll be like silent moments. Silence, right? The character will be looking and it'll be silent. And you're like, okay. And you look at the Japanese one and they're going, ha, but like that, but they're like, this is a great time. Da-da-da. And it's like the English subtitles are actually saying things. They're not just laughing.
Oh.
And if a character's just looking off of the silence, it's not silent with English music playing. It's like, the woes of this existence is mine to bear. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Where's the depth?
So if you ever meet anyone at our age now who watches anime, but they watch it English dub, they're not really anime fans.
Yeah.
Everything has to be Japanese with English dub.
Well,
It's
I
gotta
found
be.
that interesting with it became really apparent with Squid Games.
Mm.
Almost everyone I know watched that
In Korean.
in Korean
Hell
with
yeah.
subtitles rather than
Because you want to hear their real
the
voices, bro.
dubbed. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's the same thing with like if I see a German movie.
I find that sad though, because like, why is it done so badly? Because I'm used to watching dubbed things in
Don't
German.
ever watch dub, bro.
No, but in German,
yeah,
we
yeah.
would watch English Hollywood films, but dubbed in German. But they do it right,
And
like,
they're
I just,
better.
yeah,
no
I just
doubt.
don't understand why they do it so badly. When it's almost like they're being too cocky. Like English speaking, they're like, oh well, we'll just do a half-assed job of this because it's Japanese and we don't care.
Mm.
Like, fuck you. Put
Mm.
some effort into it. Make
Fucking
it
oath.
real.
Fucking oath. I don't think it's necessarily the actors. I think it's the way the staff.
Oh yeah,
and
not the actors, but it's the studios that
Yeah.
are translating it. Yeah,
But the actors should be more forceful.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, but here's the thing, right? So if you can watch animes from with Japanese, with English dub, like if I said to you, here's an anime, there's 20 episodes, and you're like, oh fuck, 20 episodes, but you're like, no. It's one of those things where you'll be like, fuck's sake, it's a cartoon, whatever, and then maybe 2 episodes in, you're like, this story's compelling. Let me just see what happens.
Yeah,
It's like that. It's the cool thing. I'll end it with this. The cool thing about animes is that you can do all this cool shit with a cartoon that you couldn't do with a live action.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing about
and
animes.
even facial expressions and emotion. We've talked about this, like
Baka! Yeah.
like the Lion King remake,
Bingo.
bad, the original cartoon, facial expressions, beautiful.
Done.
Cartoons can do a lot
Thanks.
of things.
Thanks for listening to my rambling, bro. I've
Oh,
kinda-
good.
I always seem to,
This was a Joel storytelling episode.
Yeah.
Prost, everyone. Thanks for
Prost.
listening to the Van Liter podcast.